We're live. I'm supposed to play, aren't I? I love my life. I love my life. I love my life. I love my life. Every moment unfolds before my eyes with infinite sweet surprise. I love my life. I love my life. With every beat, my heart says yes to peace and ease and happiness. And with every breath that comes and goes, abundant blessing overflows. I love my life. I love my life. I love what I see. Love what I do. I love being me. I love loving you. I love my life. I love my life. I love my life. How I love my life. Every moment unfolds before my eyes with infinite sweet surprise. I love my life. I love my life. I hear the breeze. It calls my name. The swaying trees, they do the same. All things within the everything, all heaven and nature sing. I love my life. I love my life. I love what I see. Love what I do. I love being me. I love loving you. I love my life. I love my life. I love my life. How I love my life. Every moment unfolds before my eyes with infinite sweet surprise. I love my life. 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 Are we on yet? What I mean is, service isn't starting yet, is it? I mean, it's 10 o'clock. Let your dreams make you come true. Let your fantasy be your destiny. Let your dreams make you come true. Keep your love alive. Let it come alive. Where is the dream you set aside? The one you tried to hide, kept locked up inside tonight. What if that dream that had to wait came again to say that it's not too late today? Let your dreams make you come true. Let your fantasy be your destiny. Let your dreams make you come true. Keep your love alive. Let it come alive. What would you do if you knew that you could never lose? What then would you choose to do? would it feel to be free, to live your deepest dream, and know that you'd succeed, guaranteed. Let your dreams make you come true. Let your fantasy be your destiny. Let your dreams make you come true. Keep your love alive. Let it come alive. Let your guiding light shine through, calling to the best in you. Let your dreams make you come true. Let your fantasy be your destiny. Let your dreams make you come true. Keep your love alive. Let it come alive. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Just to let you know, we actually don't clap here. What we do is just for praise and just for standing ovation. So it's not offensive, but we just think it's more respectful. So sorry. Yes, good morning, and welcome. I'm Anna. I'm your facilitator this morning. The first thing to lead off with is to tell you we have a bit of a water crisis. When I went to wash my hands in the bathroom, I didn't get well, I got a few little gurgles and then I didn't get any. Suggests to me that the toilet might flush or it might not. There's also, you've already tried and it doesn't flush. Good. Okay, we've got a confirmation the toilet doesn't flush. It doesn't bother me to see pee in the toilet uh, at all. Probably we've done our business for the day, most of us. Uh, there's a bathroom downstairs, so there's another shot at it down below, and whether that has water or not, we don't know. So enough of that. We'll begin with just after the welcome. Glad you're all here. And welcome to those who are looking at us online through the Zoom contact. We'll have a reading of Science of Mind from Pasha.
And just to add a little more to the water report, the resident manager for Pualani Terrace is aware of the problem. He's been working on it since 6 a.m. and he probably had to make another trip to Ace Hardware to get a part. But with luck, by the end of the service, everything will be working again. Okay, so this is the reading for. I think I'm going to do September 4th. It's already September 4th somewhere, and I kind of like this one. Okay, the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. That's a quotation from Marcel Proust. And then from Ernest Holmes, this quote: there is a joy, a beauty, there's a deep, abiding peace. Let's experience it. Acclaimed writer Jedediah Jenkins shares his favorite feeling and a memorable time at the ocean. He was working for a San Diego based nonprofit and collaborating on projects to bring youth from Uganda to the United States. Upon learning that Uganda was a landlocked country, the staff wanted to leave plenty of space in the visitors' schedule for trips to the nearby ocean. Accompanying the youth was a 72-year-old Ugandan chaperone named Norman. Jedediah watched Norman's face become transfixed as he stared at the crashing waves. Norman had never seen the ocean. Perhaps he'd read about it or seen it on a television screen, but here in this moment, he saw the real thing for the first time. After an extended gaze, Norman took a deep breath of salty air and proclaimed, "Truly, this is a miracle." Then, fully clothed, the elderly Ugandan walked enthusiastically into the surf. Jenkins recalled feeling a secondary rediscovery, seeing a common and familiar thing as if for the first time. He'd been to the ocean innumerable times, yet only now, with Norman, did he feel he was really discovering its wonderment. And the affirmation for today is very short. I'll just read it once and then we can say it together. I see with fresh eyes. I see with fresh eyes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pasha. Rather than having an opening prayer, I will have. Can you hear me better now? Thank you. I have to be reminded. Um, Rather than having an opening prayer, let's do a silent meditation. And I will just give you a guide. Think about whatever is most important to you today and whatever is most important to the world today. As we have just a brief time, I will sound a chime at the beginning and the end, and it will be brief. We are blessed to have David Franklin as our musician of the day. David, would you grace us with a song, please?
Spirit leads, spirit guides, spirit sees and spirit decides. What I need, spirit provides. I look out the window while spirit drives. Spirit said, let's take a trip, along with Cousin Pele on a mighty ship. The trip that begins with your birth on the mighty ship called Mother Earth. Because spirit leads and spirit guides, spirit sees and spirit decides. What I need, spirit provides. I look out the window while spirit drives. Spirit says it's lots of fun taking several dozen trips around the sun. I have a lot of thrills and chills, and then you get to decide if you want to do it again, because spirit sees and spirit guides, spirit leads and spirit decides. What I need, spirit provides. I look out the window while spirit drives. Spirit is much smarter than me, like Einstein times infinity. So I just go with the flow, 'cause I don't know what spirit knows. You see, spirit sees and spirit guides, spirit leads and spirit decides. What I need, spirit provides. I look out the window while spirit drives. I look out the window while spirit drives.
Thank you so much, David. Good morning again, and welcome to New Thought Center of Hawaii. We're delighted you're here. I see a couple of new faces and many familiar faces. So it's wonderful to be here with you all this morning. And again, a welcome to those who are joining us online, either now or sometime in the future when it's convenient to see what's gone on today. Uh, I think what would be nice now is for me to pass this mic. My name is Anna. I'm your facilitator today, and to pass the mic and respond to a question which our presenter Kelly will give us now. Kelly? Great.
So I'm not. There we go. All right. So here's my question again. When was the last time, like something, maybe something you saw on your phone, or just like you giggled, like not just like the laugh you couldn't help, just that, like yesterday I was in Waikoloa and I was going to like the Goodwill, and I noticed this restaurant, and it was Fire Art Cuisine. And then I said it really fast. And if you say Fire Art Cuisine really fast, it sounds like fart cuisine. And I thought it was hilarious for absolutely no reason that I'm still a 12-year-old inside. But like that kind of just a stupid, silly giggle where you just like appreciate something so simple and so ridiculous. So when was it or what was it?
All
Would be
right.
my question.
Oh, my name's Patty, and I just can't think of anything right now.
You can pass.
I'm Terry. I had a wonderful cat named Pink, and he would just do outrageous things and caused a lot of laughter and joy.
Oh, cats are good about that. All pets.
My name's Candy. Um, Yesterday, I was with a friend's children, and the little one is only 1 year old, and so trying to help him to learn not to scream for what he wants. He doesn't have many words, but so it's tricky. But I was holding him, and he was started screaming into my ear, and I said, "Oh, please don't scream! That hurts my ear." And so he's looking inside my ear.
Aloha, I'm Marcus. We laugh about many different things, usually every day,
Fabulous.
and it's the way you say something, the way you fall down.
Not just that you fell down, but the way you fall down,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
flaily. Like the more flaily, the better.
So very
Okay.
fortunate. Thanks.
My name is Elaine. I have to think on this one, so that's probably not a good sign if I have to think about it. But I'm going to pass on to Eddie. He can tell you something funny that happened to him yesterday.
Aloha, my name's Eddie. I fell over a plumeria tree when I was cutting the grass, and I'm sure I was on my neighbor's ring video. I'm sure they're home laughing at me as I fell over the tree, and so it was quite a shock. But and I laugh at my husband a lot too because we just that's pretty much what we do
Good.
because all we have is laughter and love.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Absolutely.
Aloha, I'm Glenn. Kim and I are laughing all the time. We were at the boat races this morning talking with
Yeah.
some of the participants, and they made us giggle a
Good.
My name's Kim, and I like some of the songs on the island. I think we heard this Hilo Hattie song about her carburetor. Will you still love me if you have to fix my carburetor? And I have not been able to find that song. I thought that has anybody
Oh,
here heard it? It is hilarious. Do
you know.
you remember the name of it?
Will you love me when my carburetor's busted? But it was Myrtle K. Hilo. You can
Oh.
find her as Myrtle Hilo.
That's why Myrtle.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we made a good song connection.
Yeah. My name is Sally. And I actually had a pretty good giggle this morning. I have a friend that when we were children, we used to quote unquote camp out in the backyard. And we had those glow sticks that you break in half and it pops the little glass tube inside and then it makes it glow. And so we always think of each other when we look at glow sticks or, have anything to do with that. So she called me this morning and she said, how come when I wake up, all of my bones and joints sound like a glow stick breaking, but I'm not glowing. I want to glow.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kerstin. I'm from Switzerland. I'm staying at Sally's place for the moment, and
Hey.
I'm just here to participate and to hear what's going on. And so, yeah, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Pasha. I was going to pick up on Terry's cue about cats. We have a cat who keeps us very entertained. And recently, well, about a month ago, Rob and I made a trip to the mainland. And so he had gotten his suitcase out early and had it sitting, waiting to be filled. Well, she decided she would fill it, so she took up residence. It was like the soft kind luggage. And so we sort of theorized maybe she thought if she took over the suitcase, she'd go
Yeah.
too. And but that didn't work out. But then when we got back and I was ready to put the suitcase away, she'd taken over again and decided it was a cat bed. It was wonderful. It was so, like a hammock. And yeah, she just makes us smile so much. Sometimes guffaws and sometimes just smiles. But yeah, she's our resident comedian.
Good.
Her name is China.
I'm Palmer. My mother lives in Naples. She's 94, and she sent me a text the other day while the hurricane was going through down there of a sign in front of a restaurant. Basically says, "We're open until the letters fly off of this sign."
Yeah. And they probably did.
I was in the mummy position, sleeping. I'm sleeping in the mummy position. That's like a mummy, with my hands across my chest. And I wake up to reality. And on my way to reality, I have to change my attitude. To love and light and happiness. And when that happens, I feel a change to spiritual energy. That's my contribution. I know it's a serious aspect of my life, but it's it's an aspect that's important to me to be awake and happy. And when I'm happy, I can laugh. Ha ha ha. See, I laughed. I'm very serious.
Yeah.
Well, like pretty much everywhere on the island, there are wild chickens running around. And we've got a lot of them because we don't have them in a coop and we don't kill them and we don't chase them away. So we've got dozens of chickens. And to me, there's something about a chicken. I mean, it's a bird, right? But it doesn't fly. It has this funny walk and it just kind of walks around, seems to take itself kind of seriously while it makes kind of a ridiculous sound. And then they start fighting with each other and you hear a dozen of them going, "Quack, quack, quack," at the same time. They're just, it never gets old. Just laughing at the chickens.
The chicken show.
Yeah. At night, the chickens put on a show for free.
I don't know if I need to be anywhere near this, so make it screech. There you go. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you
everybody.
all. That was fun to hear. You know, you always think of something like an answer to a question like that after it's past your time. And I was trying to think what made me giggle like a teenager. Uh, and I know it was a cartoon that I saw somewhere on Facebook, but I cannot tell you what it said. So I think it's time for a song again.
Picture God sitting on a throne in clouds of glory, awesome and alone. Perhaps it's lonely in heaven up above, so they made you and me and everybody up. I'm God's imaginary friend, always good for a game of let's pretend. I'm God's imaginary friend. God loves to watch me caper and cavort. I play along just to be a sport. It makes him happy having me around. You know it simply wouldn't do to let him down. I'm God's imaginary friend, always game for a game of let's pretend. I'm God's imaginary friend. What would you do if you were God and God was you? Once I dreamed I was a butterfly. I woke up and dreamed I was a guy. Am I a butterfly? Am I a man? Or will I wake to find I'm something else again? I'm God's imaginary friend, always game for a game of let's pretend. I'm God's imaginary friend. I'm God's imaginary friend. It's enough to drive you round the bend. Being God's imaginary friend.
Thank you again, David. We have a little custom here called miracles and ordinaries. And it is a way that we can share something that might have happened to us that was either very ordinary but seemed quite extraordinary in its impact on our lives, or miraculous, like this is not supposed to happen, but it does, and we're totally amazed. So I invite you now to think if there's been something of this nature that's happened to you recently that you would be willing to share. And those who have a miracle and or ordinary are invited to come and use the mic here uh, and share with us and let us in on the secret. Do we have someone? Anyone? Go for it, David. You can use your own mic.
Well, so a few months ago, we were eating a squash that was particularly good at home. And I've been saying for years I want to grow my own food, but I was like, yeah, I don't know. It's probably hard to do. Um, but I decided, okay, I'm going to save the seeds out of the squash and let's just see if anything happens. And I put them in the ground, and nothing happened for about 10 days. And then some squash seeds started coming up. And next thing you know, I'm growing my own food, which is, it's not a miracle, but I just somehow thought there was more of a trick to it than just, eating something and taking the seeds out and putting them in the ground. And the squash plants are huge. I mean, they're just like all over the yard. They haven't started blooming yet, but I'm sure they will. They're very robust.
Thank you. Wonderful news.
A kombucha? Oh. We'll probably have dozens of them in a couple months.
Anyone else? No travel stories? I'll give you sort of a miracle. Uh, David and I went to the mainland, to the Bay Area, to help with a longstanding volunteer opportunity called the Aloha Festival, that a group of people who were welcoming the Hokalea about 23 years ago decided to form a group that would have an ongoing tradition of celebration. So I am a retiree of American Airlines and I fly space available. And we got as far as Phoenix and tried to go to San Francisco, and we missed 5 different flights. But the sixth flight was recommended to us by the helpful people at the customer service desk. And it turned out it was to Monterey, which is a good little ways. And so we called the people who were putting on the festival and said, is there anybody who could help us get from Monterey to the venue? And we had a hotel room waiting for us. And believe it or not, one of the people who was on the committee, he is the guy that announces all of the programs during the day. It's a day long festival with music, hula, uh, dancing of other types, slack key guitar, singing. And he was living in Monterey and could pick us up and drive us directly to the hotel. So, talk about a miracle. We really felt like we had been taken care of by the universe. Okay, enough of that. Anybody else who's thought of a miracle or an ordinary that you'd like to share? Something cool that's happened? Go ahead.
Am I on, or should I just talk real loud? I could do it. There we go. I was like, I could do it either way. And this is just like an ordinary thing, but the weight of this for my family was huge. Last September, on my grandson's first birthday, my children and grandchildren moved here. It was everything to me. I couldn't have been happier because now, my Ohana's all here. Shortly thereafter, the husband just took off, went to the mainland, left the children and grandchildren abandoned. And luckily, I was here, um, which was hard enough on the family and on the children. But then he decided to sue for custody in Tennessee, where they came from, and nobody wanted to go back there. It was kind of like a legal. Let me try and do something. Um, so Spirit was good enough that there was always something that came through when I was like, we had to get a lawyer here and we had to get a lawyer there, and again, he had just taken all the family's money. So we like the community that we're in there took care of us, and something would come through for me every time that I need to pay a lawyer. Like the money just showed up. I was like, it's our legal money. And The court was in the middle. So my daughter had to be up to go to court at 3 in the morning by Zoom. And we were awarded jurisdiction to be in Hawaii, which is where we are, which was a huge thing because it was less than 6 months. They kind of had, they were trying to claim that was how it was. And I also am like very much understanding that that's how Pele works sometimes. And the family is doing great. Everybody's thriving from where they were. My daughter as well. Like now she is running her own business. She's happy. She's like, it seemed like such a hard, horrible thing at the time. And the kids are still working through all of that. But it almost like released an energy of progress in my family. And then once we knew that we had custody, that we could do our custody battle here in Hawaii, where the children are, where what we call home, it just made us also feel so at home here, like Hawaii has claimed us as well. Um, so for us, just having that off our back to feel like there's no outside threat to our family at this point in time is a huge release for us. So to me, it was a miracle in many ways, especially since they were new here and how much the community around us came together and helped us through this in every way. It's really beautiful. To me, that's a miracle of connection. So something that may seem to be really bad at first ended up being such a blessing for this family. So yeah. Yeah.
Our speaker, Keli Semelsberger, is going to speak to us today. Life as Improv, Divine Play. She uses improv professionally as a form of team building. She prefers to call it tribe building because she infuses spiritual lessons along with the fun of improv to make her workshops and her classes both inspiring and hilarious. This blend makes her a one of a kind, and her workshops are appealing to a wide variety of groups. Her recent clients include Lending Tree, Facebook Meta, BASF, Novant Healthcare, FinTech, among others. She owns the award winning Charlotte Comedy Theater in North Carolina. It's now in its 21st year and is in the process of reopening her Big Island Comedy Theater in Hilo. She is a Reiki master and an author. Her book, Improv Shaman: The Transformative Journey of Divine Play, is available through Amazon. Her interests include shamanism and plant medicine, among many things. You can certainly pick up that she is finally completely at home and happy here. Thank
Yes,
you
I
and
am.
welcome.
Thank you. I don't know who wrote that, but I sound great. I was like, well, I sound impressive. I don't promise any of that's going to happen. So, all right. It's so good to be here. I'd like to take like the first minute just to kind of like ground with everybody's energy and just be grateful to be with everybody who's here today. Um, one of the things I wanted to talk about, I mean, all right, let me ask you this actually. How many people have ever seen a fully improvised show before, like a performance of improv? Okay. Or have you seen the show Whose Line Is It Anyway on TV? Okay. All right. We do something similar to that, and then we throw some Chicago kind of style on there where we actually will improvise for like an hour, hour and a half. That'll be more scenic and like kind of create a world. So one scene goes to the next, and as we improvise, we will take on information and start building this. It's kind of like a dream. You just start building this world. If this is true based on what happened in the first scene, then this would be true. Um, and we do this in front of a live audience. Um, so part of our training, when I train people, a lot of it is about trust. People get so much through the classes because what we're teaching you is to trust yourself, to make choices, to be in the moment, which is really hard. I teach adults. The hardest thing for us as adults to do is to learn how to let go of control. When I step on stage with a group of people and I don't know what the audience is going to give me, it's all based on the audience. I don't know who's going to be there, and they're going to throw out something at me. We're going to have to make something based on that. So the hardest thing for us adults to do is to learn how to let go of control of things, or what we think is control of things, because we're never really in control of anything anyway, which is evident when you get to a certain age. I was still trying a lot in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. So one of the things that I like to speak on when I teach improv is letting go of end outcome. say this a lot, let go of end outcome. So for instance, and also I wanted to dispel the belief that you either have to be funny or be on all the time to be a comedian. That's not at all true. You just got to be kind of honest with who you are. You have to be willing to expose yourself. And a lot of people think that being an improviser and getting on stage in front of people, like I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm just going with it. Is brave. But to me, it's way easier. I'm very lazy when it comes to memorizing things. If I have a script, okay, then I know I have to hit certain beats. I have to get to an end outcome. I'm supposed to close it this way because the other person has to pick up their lines at that point, right? Somebody else is dependent on me doing a certain job in a certain way because somebody also put the time into writing it. And now I'm delivering this sketch, right? And I'm responsible for the words and the content and the emotion and everything in it. As an improviser, I don't have any of that responsibility whatsoever. I'm like, I'm just winging it, you know? That's the great thing about letting go of end outcome. If you don't know where you're supposed to be, everything you do when you're going there is just fine. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. And when this applies to life, I mean, you can see how it applies to a scene. Like when I have two improvisers and they might be kind of wanting to control the scene, or, well, I was going to try and get her to marry me. I'm like, but that's what you were going to do. That means you're also trying to achieve something in the future instead of just being right here in the moment. What was the feeling really? It was not of like, I love you. It was something different. But we try and make it things. We try and script our lives. And the easiest way to see that in our society is that we have this concept that, you get out of school, you go to college, or you travel, and then you get married, and da da da. And we try and hit these marks. Or there's certain points in our life where, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just lost. I'm like, are you really though? Or I don't know what my special purpose is. And there's people out there all over the place that'll get to charge you thousands of dollars to put you in a weekend workshop so you can find your life purpose and market to that. I mean, they're everywhere. If you have enough money, you can go to them. But what if your life purpose is just to live the moment of your life? And the greatest teachers will tell you that's what it is. Remember one time I was praying on that, and I did all this. I had just done, years shamanic training, and I just traveled it all over the place and learned from master teachers. And I came back and I sat in prayer and I was like, well, what am I supposed to do with this knowledge? What do you want me to do now? And the answer was, you're already doing it, which was very frustrating because I spent a lot of money. So, but it is like, you're living your life. And while I was on my back porch in North Carolina at the time, and I remember having these big, in my deep thought moment, and I stopped in my prayer for this. And because there was a butterfly trapped and I was afraid it was going to hurt itself. So I stopped what I was doing and I went and I got did the whole thing and got the butterfly out and I released the butterfly. I'm like, okay, now I can get back to figuring out what I'm supposed to do. And the message was, you just did it. What if the most important thing I was supposed to do in my entire life was that moment when I released that butterfly? And it's great because the analogy of the butterfly effect, it affects everything else. But what if that is it? What if you already did your thing that you were supposed to do? How freeing is that concept? Like you already did it. You may not know. Maybe it's a kid you had, or maybe it's a person you helped, or maybe it's a tree or a plant that you planted, that's what you were supposed to do. We make it like it's this big thing we're supposed to do. Like we're all supposed to brand ourselves or leave this legacy for other people. What if we released ourselves from that responsibility and just go, every moment that I'm here, that's what I'm supposed to do? How much more cool is that to not have this script we're supposed to hit? Or to be like, oh, like with me, I don't have any savings. I lost my theater and everything else during the COVID. So there's a point where that was upsetting for me for about 30 minutes. And I said, well, if that's what's supposed to happen, it already happened. Okay, I'll be taken care of. Whatever I'm supposed to do, I'm supposed to do. Am I going to sit here and waste any energy fretting of what is not? Because if I want to really live in the moment, what I have is right now. I'm apparently supposed to learn other skills now. If I've ran a theater for 23 years and now there are no theaters. Now, what now? And that's when I ended up writing a book. But to take things as they are, to let go of end outcome of what society says is an outcome for us, especially as like me, graying hair, I stopped dyeing my hair. I'm like, I don't care what society says I'm supposed to look like or that I'm not valuable anymore. I know me and I know everybody my age. We're the most valuable we've ever been. First of all, we got this far. That's a big step. Like I'm surprised we made it this far. I made a lot of mistakes when I was younger. For society to tell us what we should be, for us to tell us what should be, what should the end outcome be? It can be whatever we want it to be. But mostly to not even worry about that, but to be right here in this moment of time because that's all the place my power is. It's the only place I can serve. I can't do anything about tomorrow. I sure can't do anything about yesterday except for learn from it. It doesn't take away any like planning. I wouldn't say just because I don't have any savings, everybody else shouldn't have any. That's really stupid not to have any savings, but it's where I am, you know? But it shouldn't keep you from living right now in this moment, in this time, in this space. So letting go of an outcome is the hardest thing for us to do as adults because we've been trying to manage chaos our whole life. We have been trying to figure out how to keep bad things from happening, or we become great project managers, but to the point that we kind of overmanage sometimes. And I see myself, especially with my family. Well, the older ones. With the 2-year-old, I'm fine because he and I get each other. It's just like chaos. Let's just eat hot dogs and run in circles until we fall down. We kind of do that stuff together. So he and I get each other because he's still in the moment. The other ones are a little bit more difficult because they're now at the point of their life they're trying to learn what that control is. And the thing about feeling like we have control or wanting that is also to assume that we know what we're supposed to be doing. Does that make sense? Like, again, like we think we know what the script should be. And we've all lived around here, lived long enough to go, every time we thought we knew how things are going to go or they should go, they went a different way. And a lot of times for the better. Like, for instance, if I was praying for financial stability and I found a job that I thought would provide me that, and I worked really hard to get it and I didn't get it, I could be devastated. And like, oh, I'm not getting my financial, because a lot of people think, oh, I'm trying doing all the manifesting thing and it's not happening. Sometimes we just may misread the situation because we can't see from up here at Eagle. We're down here on the earth. So if I want the job really bad and I don't get it, it might be because that job would have taken way more of my time, paid me less, the benefits would have been good, and I would have lost another opportunity that would have given me more financial security. So actually, my denial of that one job may have actually been leaving space for what I really needed, or working independently, or something else that was going to give me financial security. But I can't see that because I'm not at Eagle. So that is in my traditions. We think about that all in animal forms. Basically, a lot of things are related to animals. And when the way to look at it, the way I like to look at it, is looking at it as like if I was an ant, okay? And there's these blade of grass, and every blade of grass is another problem for me or another obstacle. But I can only see these blades of grass right in front of me. That's all I can see. And if I say, okay, that one, I'm going to go around that one or tear it down or whatever I have to do. And then there's another one here, and okay, well, now I go this way. But if I think of that from Eagle, we go up to Eagle, where Eagle can see where my little ant is, and that my goal is over here to get this piece of fruit. But there's also right here a ravine where something horrible would happen. And I'm being directed by these little problems to go around that to get to where I need to go. But at Eagle, we can see that. You can see the ant, you can see the lot of land, you can see the farm, you can see the town, you can see the county, you can see all the different things happening. And I love it because it was in the song you sang too about, spirit knows. From Eagle, you can see everything. You have a broader view of everything. And as ant, we're just kind of like, we're kind of blocked from seeing the bigger picture. So part of like letting go of end outcome is going, I can't see it all. Or even saying this, and this is really hard for adults, is like, what if I don't know what's best? What if I don't know what's best for me? And what's a really good question is, what if I don't know what's best for other people? Because we all like to think we know what's best for other people too. That's, and that puts us in judgment, which also puts us in separation of the people that we care about. You go like, well, I just had a situation where somebody dear to me married someone I thought was toxic for them. And I gave him my love and kind of backed up. Like, what do I know? Just because I went through something similar and I think that that's what's going to happen. I don't know that. And I also don't know her path. Maybe this person has to go through a toxic relationship to get to another level of where they're supposed to be. I'm not here to fix that for them. And as an elder and as a parent, it's really hard to not try and fix everything for people, because I try and do that all the time. But what if it's supposed to be broken? Let me let go of end outcome. If I fix this for you, if I help you with this, everything will be fine. I don't know. I just think that because I've been around a long time. It's like I should know this. If we let ourselves off the hook for having to know things too, that makes it a lot better, especially when we mess up. Because how many times have you like, what an idiot? We kind of chastise ourselves for something going wrong. I should have known better. Really, how? Things are different all the time. What I love to remind people is This is how little control we have and how different everything is every moment. These bodies, these little soul suits that we're walking around in are so high maintenance. Like, think about it. Like, as soon as you're done with one thing, there's another. Like, oh, I gotta pee. Oh, I need something to drink. I need something to eat. I'm feeling. Am I depressed today? So nothing like you can't eat and be like, I'm gonna be okay. Like I ate, I'm good. Like a few hours later, I'm like, why am I hungry again? I'm like, oh, it's been 6 hours. I gotta refuel. And then our bodies have to close down at night for like 8 hours. It's just like we can't body anymore, and just like, you know, like these are frail. Like we spend a lot of time just maintaining the carcass that we carry around. It's so problematic. And now that I'm older, I'm like, now I got to make sure I put on lotion and the sunscreen and all the other things. It's a constant evolution every day. We can't even make like nothing stays the same. The seasons, the days and nights, our own emotional uh, situation. I could wake up in a great mood, talk to somebody, or hear that somebody has a problem that I can't fix, and then I'm already, caught up in their emotions and wanting to change that. I'm like, well, maybe if I eat, I'll feel better. Maybe if I pee, I feel better. Maybe if I take a nap or recharge this thing, I'll feel better. And maybe sometimes I do, or maybe sometimes it is waking up and say I want to be full of love and peace and grace, and then bringing spirit back in and like, okay, now I'm good. You know, we don't have a lot of control. You know, so letting go of end outcome means to me being free to not have a script, to not say I should be here by now, to not say I should look like this, to not say even my kids or people I care about should be different than where they are. We can just be there to support and hold space for what they're doing. I tend to overparent. I didn't have a strong relationship with my mother at all. So as a mother, my thing was like, I'm going to always be there for my kids. They're going to know it, to where I have helicoptered the tar out of my children. And now I'm like, I have stolen some of their journey by fixing all of their problems when they showed up. So now I'm learning how to be a little bit more passive about that, because I don't know what's right for them either. I can't script their lives for them, because if I could, they'd probably be in a bubble. Simply because if anything happens to them, it hurts me. That's what love is. We all know that, right? If something hurts the people we love, we are hurt. We struggle with them. We struggle for them. But to learn how to apply my own medicine, which is like, I have to be able to live in the moment so I can be there for them. If I'm consumed with their issues or problems, which I've already lived through because I'm not 35 anymore, I've already been through a custody battle. I've already been through these things. I need to be able to, how can I step out of that and be in a place of play and love and support and that spiritual grounding of uh, that's not immersed in it, because I cannot fix things. It's not my job, you know? Plus, I'm not very handy. I'm not good with tools. But I can't fix things for other people, including myself. Maybe that's not what we're supposed to do. Maybe I don't know what's right. And that to me was one of those freeing things that I ever took on. Was like every time I'd want to make a judgment, I'm like, what do I know? What do I know? Which, it's like back to, and I think it was in one of the readings you did, was the eyes of a child, looking at things. And I am rediscovering the earth again through my grandson. Like I'm watching him at like just barely have language, and take him, and as soon as he sees the water, he goes, oh shit, beautiful. And I'm just like, I love you. Just to see him in awe of the ocean every day. Like it's and I'm still that way too though, but or to I think when he gets scared or thinks that you are, he'll go to you and grab your leg or whatever and say, I got you. I got you. Isn't that the most beautiful thing ever? And that fixed everything for me. So I'm starting to take that on. I was like, instead of trying to fix people's problems, I'm just going to say, I got you. I got you. And if you need me, come to me and let me know what I can do. But I got you. Instead of coming in, Sparta kicking the door down and go, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get a mechanic. We're going to get a loan, and trying to manage it, because I don't know the end outcome of what it should be or what it could be. And I can actually stand in the way and cause more trouble by trying to think I know better or fix it. It also keeps you from having distance from other people, because if we think we know what's best for them or what's best in general, then we also make judgments, especially about ourselves. That's the worst one. We do it too. We can give everybody else leadway in the world and be like, oh, you do you, boo. and then you're back to like, I should be way more perfect. Like, I don't know why we do that, because there is, again, letting go of a script for your life or an outcome of your life is assuming that anything should be anyway, including us and how we look or where we should be at a certain point in life or how people should live. And it's absolutely more freeing, and it does give me more joy to live in that space, to just go, like, even this morning we had an incident where I had my business cards here and we put them out and then we moved things around a little bit. They are gone. They're not they are nowhere to be found. And I went, meh, well, they're not supposed to be here. They're going to show up when they want to. I joked and said, the house fairies got them. But either way, it's like, why would I care? If they're supposed to be here, they'll be here. Same thing, like I always say, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. If not, maybe like my daughter's ex, there was a point where you were here and you felt like I shouldn't be here anymore. And then you're in Oregon, out camping or whatever. You would be somewhere else if you're not where you're supposed to be. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know how you could do it any other way, but a lot of times we feel like the not enoughness sets in, or did I make the right decisions? Of course you did, because you're here. Of course you made the right decisions. We all have regrets, but we learn from them. I try not to have any. I think my biggest regret is that I won't serve the moment that I'm in. I'll be too distant or thinking about this or too worried about that or worried about, how I'm presenting myself or whatever, to not just be here. That is the moment of power. This is the only place I can really affect anything, is just in this moment. So that's my thing about letting go of outcome, is when I think about that, when I start getting upset about anything, I'm like, what am I upset about? And then it'll usually be because I think I know better, or because this shouldn't be happening. Even like getting stuck in traffic, I don't get stressed out at all. I used to, especially when I lived in Chicago, and this is where I learned this. I was like, well, if I was up there, maybe I'd be in that accident that person's in. Right? Spirit knows better. And that comes to the trust too of the divine, is I trust that everything is for my greater good, no matter how crappy it looks on face value. That, because I live in Hawaii, like, pretty much it's worked pretty well for me so far. You know what I mean? Like, there are things where I'm like, I'm okay. Me and my family are okay. And if we're okay, nothing else matters, right? So I trust that no matter what comes at me, that's for my greater good. And if I look at it that way, it becomes for my greater good. Because I'm like, what's the lesson here? Instead of like, but my dad was a golfer. He used to say, well, if you hit your ball into like a water feature, uh, you can scream and you can yell and you can yell at the other people and you can be mad that a bird or a car backfired, and you can break your clubs in half, or you can whip them across the thing, but you still got to get your ball out of the hole, and you're still going to have to take 2 strokes, right? And I think of that, even though I'm not a golfer, but I think of that too. That analogy still is like, I still have to deal with the situation. Why am I going to be really mad and upset that it happened and judge it's happening, instead of, let me just deal with the consequences? What do I need to do? What do I need to do to get out of this situation, and how do I go forward? So that's where I was with like wanting to kind of address that in improvisation. What we do when we walk on stage is we have 0 expectations of where this is going to go. We just said, you and me are together. Let's assume you guys right here, just because that's where I'm looking a lot right now, is you guys are my improv team, and we've practiced and we trust each other. If I get on stage with you, I'm like, I got you, and you got me. Let's go out there. And I think that's what community is. Community is a bunch of people that say, I got you. We trust each other. No matter what happens in this life, as we improvise our way through it day to day, we got you. If something goes off the rails, we have each other. And if that was a broader thing, if that was how the world was, where we have disasters, where we have poverty, where we have anything, we would have one another, because we're there in that space. Not, well, it happened because of this, or it shouldn't happen because of that. No, let's just deal with what's happening and let's take care of one another. So it becomes a little bit more global too. In my mind, it becomes very global, and how I look at everything. It's like, well, what happened, and maybe it was supposed to, but let's take care of each other now. Let's say I got you, and let's make sure we do that. Which also comes to the point of the child's mind, like you were talking about, is if you let go of end outcome, you can also see things new. Instead of, I know how this should be, go, I wonder, how should this be? If not the way that I think it should be, there are other possibilities, which also makes you a great problem solver, because you won't just look at the way that you know it should be done. You look at other ways that you could do things, right? So you look at things with a fresh eye. Like, okay, this is the way I'd usually handle it, but what if I didn't do it this way? What if we didn't do it this way? What if we didn't tackle it this way? Because we all know our society needs to be rerun. We can't just like put it back the way it was pre-pandemic because that didn't work either, except for like 1% of the world, right? It didn't always work for everybody. So why are we trying to put it back the way it was? What else could it be? What else could be there? So that's another like problem solving technique that we use, especially in improvisation, because everything is being given to us is considered a problem. It's like something for us to solve. It's like, so what can it be? If we start going down a trail that feels good, we follow that. We even say, follow the fun. What feels right for you? What feels good for you? So in those places of like, well, this isn't working. And intellectually, I know this should work. Well, sometimes those things don't work anymore. What feels fun to do? Because then you're going to have a lot more energy to whatever the new path is, right? So we're like, just follow the fun. I've done so many things that I thought it should be this way, and that fell out. It didn't take root. Everything's right about how I did it technically, and it just wasn't meant to be. So I'm like, okay, what seems possible and fun? Because that's where our joy is. Why not live in joy if we're going to be here at all, right? I figure I'm going to live until I die. In the meantime, I want to help as many people or beings as possible, and I want to have a good time. Because I bought a ticket for this ride, apparently. We all did. We bought a little ticket, come down here in human form and keep feeding this body and making it go to sleep and doing all the things we got to do with this body just so we could be here, so we could feel love and pain and eat cotton candy and feel this breeze and just like be in human form. Like, apparently, it was pretty important for our souls to come into this fragile little thing that can't keep it together, you know? So, if that's the ride, like if I paid a ticket to take that ride, well, my gosh, I want to get the most out of it, right? That's why I want to have the most fun as I can while I'm here. Because this is my one ride. I don't know how long I'm going to have this little spacesuit available. But I know me, my soul, once I'm done with this, I'm like, let's move on. Human was hard. Let's do something else. But while I'm humaning, why not have the most fun, right? So that being said, and I'm looking at the clock too, you guys ready to have some fun instead of just me talking about it? Yeah? Yeah? All right. We can. I have a couple games we can play. They have nothing to do with what I talked about, except for it's kind of the principles of what it feels like to actually just make stuff up and how easy it is and how fun it is. What I'd like to do, if I could get 3 volunteers, all you got to do is be yourself, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. And it's so fun. And this one, okay, because I was talking about helicoptering. Is there anybody else here who likes to give advice? Who's an advice giver? You don't want to be put on spot, so that's why you're not saying anything. I know who you are. Fabulous. Okay, actually, since you 3 are together, aren't you? Could I steal you and have you? Okay, well, yeah, I was going to ask that publicly. Could I have you 3 come up here for a moment? Could you be volunteered, forcefully volunteered? Because I think you're going to be great at this. Okay, so again, everything we do is just play. Just come on up here. I think, we could probably, I hope this doesn't screech. Just pass this. So this works well with the microphone. This is really, really fun. Now, you guys who have not been forcefully volunteered, I want you to think of a question you need advice with, because this is your advice team. Okay, I'm going to let you hold this. All right. I think this is perfect. Your job is to, when you hear whatever this is to give good advice, just like the best advice you have. Okay. I want you to give a little worse advice than him. Like, probably not the best advice you could give. All right. I want you to give the worst advice you could possibly, yes, give the worst. Okay. Are you guys in the right formation for this? Or do you want to switch? Who? Okay. Do you want to give the worst?
I do.
Switch. Let's move down this way. You guys go this way. There we go. You know who you are. Okay. So you is just, it's a little worse than hers, but not as bad as his is going to be. Okay. How fun is this? This is so fun. Okay. Again, there's no script. We don't know what we have to do. All they got to do is have fun and be themselves. That's what life is about. And that is doing your dharma. That is doing what you're supposed to do. Right now, we're supposed to play, and we should carve out a lot more time for it. Okay. So who here has something? It can be about work. It could be about a relationship. What advice do you need today? Because I have a panel of experts here that will be glad to help you. Yes.
What's a vacation I should consider going on?
Oh, fabulous. What's a great vacation she should consider going on?
Okay.
Do it in the microphone.
Oh,
there
hello.
you go. Thank you.
So, are you single? So you'd be going by yourself? Oh, okay. You're married to Dave. Okay. I would do a tour. And there are several really good tour groups online that you can go to. And I think it's well worth the money. And one of them I'll give you advice on is Rhodes Scholar, ROADS. And it's expensive, but I've heard it's really worth the money.
And
Yep.
thank you for the plug, Rhodes Scholar. Be sure and send your money here.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. Everything you do is going to be perfect. Give him the microphone. And now you give a little worse advice on where to go vacation, something that may not be good. Okay.
I'd go to Hilo.
Okay, perfect. I live there. No. Okay, and now the worst advice you can give.
Well, why are you wanting to go on vacation at all? You need to be saving your money to build for your future, and when you pass away, you give it to your family. That's what it's for.
Thank you. Not only did you do a great job, but I feel like we were lectured there, which is awesome. You guys did your job very well. See how easy that was? A lot of improv is you're just being who you are. The great thing I like about it, and this is about community as well, is I can be with you guys, and I don't need to live your life or your life or your life, and you don't need to live mine. And I benefit from your experience, and you benefit from mine. That's the thing about being in community. That's the thing about us working as a team too, is that we can benefit from each other's experience. I don't have to do it. And the more diverse the group is, the more experience we have amongst us, and we can all learn from each other. And that's what the world and our government needs to do too, is have more diverse people together so we can all learn from each other. You want to try it again? Let's do another question. Okay. What have you guys got? Give him a hard one. Yeah.
What can I do about my son, grown son, who has become brainwashed to the point where he's so angry that he puts up a front that he's actually being that kind of person, but
I would tell him to get therapy, to get help.
Oh yeah. Can you? All right. The question is, what do you do about a grown son who is very, very angry, does not realize that they are? They think they're being nice and everything, but there's a lot of anger there. So what do you do with that? Who's been influenced by outside forces? Is that a good way to say it? Okay.
Yeah. So my answer is I would highly recommend that you get therapy and limit your involvement. That's what I would say. I have 3 sons. Don't take that on.
I've got one. That's a great advice.
Yeah, Mark.
So I have a question. Is it childhood anger or is it red cap anger? As she was talking about in her presentation today about letting people just go through that process, again, I would step away when it becomes overwhelming or too much for you, because you deserve better, right? So the only thing we can really do is pray and meditate about it, and you're a better person than to deal with the anger issue. I mean, that's something that they need to work through, right? So let it go. Just let it go and know that it's gone and it'll be the way it's supposed to be.
I know, but hold on. This is a perfect opportunity to go, who cares what the game was? Wasn't that beautiful? His instinct was to give you advice from his heart. Then that's what's supposed to happen, and that's the right thing, right? So letting go of end outcome. I said how the game should be played. How many of us were resistant to be like, yeah, but he's giving good advice. I was sitting there going, yeah, he's giving good advice. Awesome. Beautiful. That's the perfect example of us having an idea of how it should be. If I explain the game like that or not, and it goes that way, I don't care. We had a beautiful moment and great advice was given. So if we can take the moments as they come, not how we assume that they should be, even if we were given directions. I've broken a lot of rules in a lot of directions and had the best outcome. So I know you guys have too. Some of my best outcomes were when I was breaking the rules. I'm going to speed when I leave here. No, I'm just okay. But if you can give real advice, because we started a pattern now too. Like if he wants to give good advice, you can give that as well. Or if you want to do the bad advice, because that's so much more fun. I always take this spot. This is delightful. You do what you want. You do you.
Well, what you need to do is get in there, tell them what to do, straighten up, and get your act together, or else you're out.
That works really well. Perfect bad advice. Okay. But you see what I mean about how this is how it went? So this is how it's supposed to go. And then we all back up that energy. Instead of being in judgment of it, we'll just go, oh, that's what we're doing. Let's all do it. And he chose that that's what he wanted to do was continue with the bad advice because that's great bad advice. Then we're fine. Everything's okay. There's never, the thing is to say, really, 99, if you're not hurting anybody, nothing you do is wrong. It is just what it is. It's just so much more free. Okay, could we have 3 other people that want to try this? Do you guys want to try and do it? Yeah. Yeah, that means you just volunteered. Oh, give him a round. Oh, give him a finger thing. I'm so used to applause. Yay! All right, so we have like 7 more minutes. Do we have other people that want to try this game? 1. You kind of do. You kind of want him to do it too, but you kind of want to do it. All right, you called her out. It's you 3 ladies. Come on, you did it. Woohoo! So also line up where you feel most comfortable in this game. If you know, yeah, I know that's so much fun. So much fun.
I'm good at the bad advice.
Oh, me too. I have one of my girls on my cast. She is so good at bad advice. Like literally, she gets standing ovations every time because it doesn't belong here. But it's such good bad advice. Okay, so I would like for you, our audience, to give us some more questions that you need answers. Think about maybe a work situation or yeah.
I have a 7-acre farm and it's way too much for me and I'm totally stressing out about it.
What should you do? Okay.
Could you repeat the question for
Oh,
the
again,
live
you
streamers?
keep reminding me. She has a 7-acre farm and she's being stressed out because it's just a little bit too overwhelming for her at this point. So she wants to know what she should do.
Well, perhaps there's a farm manager that could partner with you that has this, you have the land. Perhaps there's someone else who has some skills and knowledge so that you wouldn't be facing this alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great advice. All right, so pass the baton. Some not so good advice.
I think it would be good just to let it do what it does. Just don't worry about it. It'd be fine. Yeah.
It'll be jungle in no time.
Exactly. It'll be a jungle in no time. So you need to do something right away. And I think the price of land right now is incredibly high. It's a great time to sell it. I think you could just not think at all about your neighbors and you could sell it to the state and it could be a rehab center, could be one of those group homes. We could house people. There's a housing need. And so you could sell it, you could walk away and live in a condo down at the water and not even worry about the farm.
That's mixed advice. I love it. I was like, okay.
It was meant to be all bad advice.
I know, but you can't help yourself. You're too good at it. But no, you did bad advice too. It was awesome. So again, it's mixed. Like we don't. The thing is to let go of any judgment of what things are. It's just like, oh, how wonderful, how beautiful. All right, so let's have another thing for advice. Oh, I've got one that happened. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I saw a wild pig in my driveway on my video camera, and I'm wondering what the heck should I do?
Wait, do
Oh, jeez. What do you do with the wild pig on your property?
right on the driveway, huh? Okay. Oh, okay. I don't know if it's good advice or bad advice.
It's okay.
I'll tell you what advice I was given in a similar situation. You go to Costco and you buy a container of hot pepper flakes. And every time it rains or it looks like it's going to rain, you take your hot pepper flakes and you spread them all over the lawn or whatever places the pigs are doing damage. and then hopefully they don't like hot food.
I think it's good advice for him, but not for the pig.
Oh, there's so many things you could do. You know, you could go to the local beauty salon and collect hair, put that all around your property, or you could pee all around the edge of your property.
All right, that's good.
Or this is what I do. Here, you hold this for me. You stand up there on your porch and you go, "You get going, pigs! You get going right now!"
You get gone right now. That's beautiful.
And how does that work? Does that work well? Okay, my advice is that you get rid of the camera in your driveway because you don't need to see what's going on. If you're not aware of it in your own in the moment, disregard. Totally get rid of the camera. That would be my first piece of advice.
Awesome. Now, because you're in the last position, you also have to listen to what they say before you formulate yours. So you are actually in the hot spot too, because if she was saying, you know, yell at them and blah blah blah, that's what she had in her head, and you did it, she'd have to readjust. So, so she still has to improvise like here. Yeah. Okay, let's give them one more. We have one more minute. Oh, I have a car that's breaking down. I can't afford. This is a Hawaiian problem. I can't afford to get it fixed. By golly, what should I do?
Well, there's public transportation, and there's Uber and Lyft, and yes, there
Okay, great.
other ways to deal with getting from point A to point B.
You have thumbs, yeah?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right, and I live in Puna. That's a great idea.
Yeah. And or you could just like find some empty lot and just park it right there and leave it right there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think in about 15 minutes, that empty lot issue would take care of it because it'll have no windows and no tires, and you won't have to worry about trying to get it fixed.
But will it be on fire?
It might be.
Yeah,
it might be. But mostly seats missing, tires missing, all of that. And I also think this is bad advice for some people, but I work at a hostel and I tell people all the time, nowhere else in America would I recommend this, but hitchhiking does work here and it works fairly well. And I consider it safe. And we tell folks that come with renting a car, you should feel comfortable picking people up because people hitchhike all the time here.
They do. And you don't see it anywhere else that I know.
It's fine. And from our place in Kalikakua, we have people that get rides to Green Sand Beach and all sorts of things. It's long distance and top of Mauna Kea, and they do it all hitchhiking. So that could work for you.
Well, thank you. I would not have known that. Thank you. Give them a round of applause and our other performers here. Everybody. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying the applause thing. That is my time. Thank you so much. And as always, it's such an honor to be here. I hope that this was good for you guys too, because I loved it. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for your improvisations and your advice, good, bad, and otherwise. We're going to have a song, and we're going to pass the koa bowl for you to either put your hands over it and send it good vibes, or to place in it some offering that shares the wealth you have with New Thought. So, a song, David, while we pass the koa bowl.
I could make a wish for you. I'd wish you only knew how wonderful you are, how wonderful you are. How could you ever go through life and never know how wonderful you are, how wonderful you are. 'Cause the world's a better place because you're here. I'll tell you every day and hope that you might hear. I'll do the best I can to help you understand how wonderful you are, how wonderful you are. How could you ever go through life and never know how wonderful you are, how wonderful you are? 'Cause the world's a better place, 'cause you're here. And I'll tell you every day, and hope that you might hear. I'll do the best I can to help you understand how wonderful you are, how wonderful you are, how wonderful you are.
Okay, time for announcements. Time for announcements. That's funny because last week when we had a glitch with our sound system, we used the talking stick and held it up like it was a microphone. That was kind of funny, and I did the same thing with my phone. Okay. Coming up at New Thought Center of Hawaii, our Sunday services are at 10 in the morning. You can listen on the internet or we welcome you in person. And of course, as I said before, you can access uh, the live stream uh, either at real time or in some future point in time. We do offer childcare, but we ask that you reserve for this by Friday. Let me give you the next 3 Sundays previews. On the 10th, Elisha Leilani Southworth, Who Am I? Using the voice to explore facets of our identities. And on the 17th, we will have our fall equinox ceremony. And if it's like it usually is, we will have both drumming and a shamanic journey. Is that kind of what you understand, Pasha? Will be a continuation of that practice? Okay. And on the 24th, we're having another birthday. This is number 52. And it will be both a celebration and a welcoming of people who have joined in the previous year. If you are so inclined, we have both online and over on the table over here forms for you to express your desire to be one of our members. And there's no need to disaffiliate with any other spiritual community that you are a part of if you do wish to become one of our affiliate members. And we are glad to say that one of our members, Mahina Saunders, will do the music for that particular ceremony and celebration. On the 9th, which is Saturday coming, at 1 p.m., not terribly far from here, is TI, as in the leaves that make, well, they are both aluminum foil for Hawaii cooking, and TI also make beautiful leis. TI and TEAT, TNT. And we're going to learn how to make these leis. Patty is our lay minister, and she is going to conduct a class for any who would like to learn how to make the tea leaf leis. And that is going to be by reservation, and we will have the number to call on our website. And it's also on the bulletin board. So take a quick shot of that if you are planning to come. And that's going to be at 1 o'clock this coming Saturday. We do have some weekly opportunities on Mondays from 4:30 to 5:30. There is Tai Chi and Qigong with Jinan Wang. It's $15 or 48 per month. And you can pay this week to get that discount for the month of September. There's a crystal bowl meditation next Sunday from 9 to 9:30 in the Honua room right behind me. This is a free event, but you certainly have the opportunity to make a donation. There is also the last Sunday of the month, both a potluck and a produce giveaway. And that next event will be on the 24th, which is our birthday. So it's a very appropriate time to share your farm's abundance or to enjoy the abundance of some other farm. There is just the announcement that if you do want to join as a member, now's the time. And you can do it online or you can do it over here on the table. And we will welcome you as a new member this coming 24th. We always have service opportunities, whether it be greeting people and welcoming them as they enter the room, or helping us get the table set up, the tablecloths out, or putting things away after the meeting, or helping Palmer do the sound system, either set up, operate, or put away. And you can reply to our weekly newsletter that we send out to anyone who signed up either online or by signing the book over here saying you'd like to be sent the newsletter. It is an email list. And we have a website, www.newthoughtcenterofhawaii.com. So either of these ways will be a way to connect with us. And we always appreciate all who do whatever they do to help us keep this going. So we have a posting on a lot of places here of Aloha Oi, and we close our meeting by joining in a circle, joining hands, and singing this. Oh, we have.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Please.
Thank you. I wanted to say that event Saturday of next week sounds really interesting. And Patty is going to be teaching us how to make leis, like the beautiful one that you're wearing today, that she seems to intuit the proper colors that go with whatever the person's wearing. And so every week we seem to get that. It's very nice. But I wanted to let you know, so the phone number for RSVPing is going to be 808-765-8681. And it is not held here. It is going to be one of our members' homes. And so we're going to have poo-poos and tea. So feel free to bring flowers with you or some leaves from your garden that you might want to add to the leis that we're going to be making. So hope we'll see you there.
Thank you. And the final thing before we do circle up and sing is to say, Kelly, do you have any workshop coming up that we need to know about?
The only thing I have is in, I took my mic off.
You can talk in this again.
Is as of the 21st, there's Connections Academy in Hilo. Upstairs, they have an actual theater. So every, let me see what that is. It's a Thursday. So every Thursday, I'm going to be hosting an improv jam, which is kind of like what we did is I'm going to bring people up. I'm going to teach everybody how to play games with a very little instruction, but it's more like for adults to come and play. So I'm creating that space for people to come play. And hopefully I'll be doing on this side of the island as well eventually. But right now I start the 21st in Hilo at 5:30 to 7:30.
Do you have a website?
I do. BigIslandComedyTheater.com. Easy breezy.
Yay.
I'll make sure it's on the blurb of the YouTube.
Good, I'll make sure it's on my website.
All right, wonderful. So
And
please circle up, and David, you
I
have
will
something?
be at the Keoho Farmers Market down at the Outrigger Hotel on this coming Friday, and the Sunday after that at the Kona Stroll.
So Friday, at what time is the KO?
That's from 9 till 2.
what, 12 till 2?
9 till 2. It
9
starts
till 2. All
in
right.
the morning, continues till 2 in the afternoon. And it's a lovely farmer's market anyway. They have it on Wednesday and Friday, but I'm there on Friday.
All right.
It was the Sheraton. Maybe it was the Surf before it was the Sheraton. I haven't been here that long. Now it's the
yes,
Outrigger.
it is now the Outrigger. Last week, Kayla Ching announced that there was a program on Tuesday at the Outrigger, and I didn't know what that was. And I searched and finally found that it was the Sheraton former site, now called the Outrigger, and that's important to know. Okay. All right.
I do have CDs for sale on the table, $10 a piece. Business cards if you need to reach me.
All right. Thank you. Let's circle up.
Some of the songs that you sing today on that.
The ones from before the service, yeah. But the ones during the service are newer.
I love that. I'm like, I want that to be my playlist. I'm so excited that those are original. Are we putting you in here too? Or you're playing?
I don't think so. My hands are occupied.
A few applause and everything. And I'm like,
Hello. So Kelly is not able to do lunch. Sorry. But thank you, Kelly. You have a rain check for next time if you ever find yourself in Kona on a Sunday.
right? I get 2 lunches in.
Yeah. We're going to really fatten you up.
Okay. I got that, man.